Most people don't realize this. The problem isn't that you get angry. The problem is that other people still have access to your nervous system. A comment, a look, a tone of voice, and suddenly your chest tightens. Your mind races, and your entire day is hijacked. You replay conversations in your head. You imagine what you should have said. You carry someone else's behavior home with you, to your family, to your bed, to your silence at night. And the worst part, you tell yourself it's normal. That's just how people are. That's just how I am. But the Stoics saw this centuries ago, and they called it what it is: a loss of self-command. Anger feels powerful in the moment, but it always leaves you weaker afterward. Weaker focus, weaker sleep, weaker control. Calm, on the other hand. Calm is dominance. Not because you suppress emotions, not because you don't feel, but because nothing outside of you gets to decide how you respond. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he reminded himself daily that rude people, selfish people, and unreasonable people would cross his path. Not to make him bitter, but to make him prepared. Because when you expect friction, it no longer owns you. Today is not about becoming passive. It's about becoming untouchable. In this video, you'll learn 5 Stoic habits that train your mind to stay steady. No matter who tries to provoke you, test you, or drain you. These are not motivational ideas. They are mental disciplines. If you master them, you won't need to raise your voice. You won't need to explain yourself. And you won't need to carry anger that was never yours to begin with. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the calmest person in the room is always the most powerful one. If you're ready, comment, "I choose calm strength." 1. Live by virtue, not emotion. Most people believe their emotions are honest. They think, if I feel angry, it must be justified. If I feel offended, someone crossed a line. But Stoicism teaches something far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Your emotions are reactions. Your character is a choice. Anger doesn't appear because someone insulted you. It appears because you allowed their behavior to dictate your inner standard. That's the shift most people never make. They live emotionally reactive lives. Their mood rises and falls with traffic, with emails, with how others speak to them. The Stoic does the opposite. He doesn't ask, "How do I feel right now?" He asks, "Who am I choosing to be?" Because when your identity is anchored in emotion, you're unstable. But when it's anchored in virtue, you become immovable. Stoicism is built on 4 core virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. These are not moral decorations. They are filters. Before reacting, the Stoic runs everything through them. Wisdom asks, is this response intelligent or impulsive? Justice asks, is my reaction fair, or am I simply protecting my ego? Courage asks, am I acting from strength or from fear of being disrespected? Temperance asks, do I need to say something right now, or am I about to say too much? Most anger collapses under this test. Let's make this real. Imagine someone speaks to you with disrespect at work. Your chest tightens. Your mind prepares a sharp response. Emotion says, defend yourself immediately. Virtue says, pause. Choose. Wisdom reminds you, reacting emotionally often costs reputation. Justice reminds you, not every slight deserves retaliation. Courage reminds you, silence can require more strength than shouting. Temperance reminds you, restraint is power. So instead of snapping, you respond calmly. Or you don't respond at all. Not because you're weak, but because you refuse to let someone else lower your standard. This is where most people misunderstand Stoicism. They think calm equals submission. It doesn't. Calm is authority. When you stay grounded while others lose control, you dominate the emotional field. You signal something without saying a word. I am not ruled by impulses. And here's the deeper truth, one that most people never confront. Anger often feels justified because it protects the ego. But the Stoic doesn't protect ego. He protects character. Character is what you respect about yourself when no one is watching. And once you decide that your actions must always align with that standard, anger loses its grip. Because anger almost always asks you to violate who you want to be. Raise your voice. Say something you'll regret. Prove something that doesn't matter. The Stoic refuses. He understands something most people learn too late. You never regret acting with dignity. You always regret losing it. So here's the practice. From today on, before you react emotionally, ask 4 questions, silently. Is this response wise? Is it just? Is it courageous? Is it restrained? If the answer is no, you don't act. You don't argue with your emotions. You don't suppress them. You simply don't obey them. That's self-command. And the more you do this, something subtle but profound happens. People lose their ability to provoke you, not because they behave better, but because their behavior no longer controls your self-respect. This habit alone will reduce anger more than any breathing technique or motivational quote ever could. Because anger fades when identity solidifies, and the identity you are building is this: I act according to my character, not according to my mood. Say it again. I act according to my character, not according to my mood. When you live this way, anger has nowhere to land. 2. Focus only on what you control. If habit number 1 taught you who you choose to be, habit number 2 determines how much power other people have over you. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most anger doesn't come from insults. It comes from expectations. You expect people to be fair. You expect them to be reasonable. You expect them to understand your intentions, and when they don't, you feel violated. But Stoicism dismantles this illusion at the root. It says, you do not control people. You control your judgments, your choices, and your actions. Everything else is noise. The moment you try to control what isn't yours to control, you surrender your peace. Think about it. Traffic doesn't anger you. Your demand that traffic shouldn't exist does. A rude comment doesn't bother you. Your belief that people should behave better does. A misunderstanding doesn't hurt you. Your insistence on being understood does. The Stoic removes that demand, not because he lowers standards, but because he refuses to outsource his emotional state. Here's the Stoic line that changes everything. Is this within my control or not? If it's not, it does not deserve your emotional energy. That question alone will eliminate most anger from your life. Let's make this practical. Someone cuts you off on the highway. You feel the surge. Ask the question, can you control their driving? No. What can you control? Your breathing, your speed, your reaction. So instead of rehearsing insults in your head, you let it pass. Not because the other driver deserves mercy, but because your peace deserves protection. Now take this into a more personal space. Workplace politics. Someone takes credit for your work. You want fairness. You want recognition. But what do you control? You control your professionalism, your documentation, your long-term consistency. You do not control their character. And here's the hard truth most people avoid. Trying to control unfair people will exhaust you. Outlasting them with discipline will free you. Stoics don't waste energy demanding the world be just. They become formidable regardless of injustice. This is where most people get trapped. They replay conversations. They imagine what they should have said. They wait for apologies that never come. All of that is energy spent on what they cannot control, and it slowly poisons them. The Stoic cuts that loop. He understands. Peace begins the moment you stop arguing with reality. Reality is this. People will misunderstand you. People will project onto you. People will disappoint you. None of that is personal, and none of it needs your reaction. Here's a simple mental drill. Every time you feel bothered, silently label the situation. Mine or not mine. Their tone, not mine. Their opinion, not mine. Their mood, not mine. Your response, yours. This creates distance, and distance creates clarity. Now let's address the fear beneath anger. Most people don't want to let go because they believe, if I don't react, I'm letting them win. Stoicism answers calmly. Winning what? Winning an argument that changes nothing. Winning a moment that costs you hours of peace. The Stoic chooses a different victory. He wins by staying centered, by conserving energy, by refusing to be pulled into emotional debt. And here's what happens when you truly live this habit. People sense it. They notice you don't bite at every hook. You don't defend every accusation. You don't correct every misunderstanding. And paradoxically, they respect you more. Because emotional self-control signals status. It says, I am not desperate for validation. This habit does not make you passive. It makes you selective. Selective with your words. Selective with your reactions. Selective with your energy. And the more selective you become, the less anyone can disturb you. So here's the practice for habit number 2. For the next 7 days, whenever something irritates you, pause and ask, is this mine to control? If the answer is no, release it. No commentary, no rumination, no inner debate. Release. And repeat this sentence quietly. If I can't control it, I don't carry it. Say it again. If I can't control it, I don't carry it. This habit will change how heavy life feels, because anger is heavy, and Stoicism is about traveling light. 3. Master the pause before you react. If there is one habit that separates calm strength from lifelong frustration, this is it. Because anger doesn't destroy your life all at once. It does it in moments. A message you answered too fast, a comment you didn't pause before replying to, a tone of voice that triggered you, and suddenly, you're no longer in control. Most people believe anger is something that happens to them. Stoicism teaches something radically different. Anger is a choice made without a pause. The moment you remove the pause, your nervous system takes over, and once that happens, logic is gone. Your heart rate rises, your breathing shortens, your mind narrows. You are no longer responding, you are reacting. The Stoics understood this long before neuroscience confirmed it. They knew that between stimulus and response lies power, and whoever owns that space owns the outcome. Most people never enter that space. They live their entire lives on autopilot. Someone provokes them, they snap. Someone disrespects them, they escalate. Someone misunderstands them, they over-explain. And afterward, they feel drained, ashamed, or quietly angry at themselves. Not because the situation was unavoidable, but because they gave away the pause. This habit is about taking it back. Let's slow this down. When something triggers you, the body reacts first, before thought, before reason. That's why telling yourself stay calm rarely works. Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress the reaction. It teaches you to interrupt it. This is where the Stoic framework comes in. Not as a theory, but as a discipline. The moment you feel triggered, yes, stop, do nothing. Not for 5 minutes, not for 30 seconds. Just stop. Silence is not weakness here. It's a shield. T. Take 3 slow breaths. Long inhale, longer exhale. This isn't about relaxation. It's about regaining access to your thinking mind. O. Observe. Name what's happening without judging it. I feel disrespected. I feel embarrassed. I feel the urge to attack. Notice, without obeying. I interpret rationally. Ask one question. What story am I telling myself right now? Is it, they're disrespecting me on purpose? They don't value me? I'm losing status. Stories create anger, not events. C. Choose. Now, and only now, you respond. Not from impulse, from intention. This entire process can take less than 10 seconds, but those 10 seconds can save you hours of regret. Let's make this real. Imagine you receive a message that feels dismissive. Your instinct is to fire back. Without the pause, you escalate. With the pause, you see the truth. You don't know their tone. You don't know their stress level. You don't know their intention. But you do know who you want to be. So you respond calmly. Or you delay the response. Or you don't respond at all, and suddenly, the situation loses its power over you. Now consider something deeper. Relationships. Arguments don't usually start with big betrayals. They start with small unpaused reactions, a sigh, a sharp word, a defensive tone. Then pride enters, then escalation, then silence. The Stoic interrupts this cycle early, not to win the argument, but to preserve clarity. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The strongest person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who can feel emotion without being commanded by it. This habit will feel unnatural at first. You'll feel like you're letting things slide, like you're losing ground. You're not. You're building internal authority. Over time, something interesting happens. Triggers lose intensity. Provocations feel predictable, and your default state becomes neutral, not reactive. People notice this. They sense that you don't give immediate access to your emotions, that you don't respond on demand, that you're not easily pulled, and that alone changes how they treat you. But here's the most important part. The pause is not something you use only when things go wrong. It's something you practice daily. Pause before responding to emails. Pause before correcting someone. Pause before defending yourself. Every pause reinforces one identity. I'm not ruled by urgency, and urgency is the fuel of anger. So here's your practice for habit number 3. For the next 7 days, adopt this rule. Never respond immediately when emotionally activated. Delay if needed. Breathe first, choose second, and repeat this quietly to yourself. The pause is where my power lives. Say it again. The pause is where my power lives. Because once you master the pause, anger no longer controls your behavior. And when behavior is under control, everything else follows. 4. Expect difficult people, and you won't be angry. Most anger doesn't come from what people do. It comes from what you expected them not to do. You expected respect. You expected fairness, you expected maturity, and when reality didn't match that expectation, you felt offended. Stoicism calls this mistake by its real name: emotional shock caused by false assumptions. The Stoics were not naive about human nature. They didn't believe people were good by default. They believed people were predictable, selfish, insecure, impatient, sometimes rude, often unaware of themselves. And because they understood this, they were rarely surprised, and therefore rarely angry. Marcus Aurelius began his days by reminding himself that he would encounter people who were arrogant, dishonest, and difficult, not to make himself bitter, but to make himself ready, because anger thrives on surprise. When you don't expect friction, friction feels personal. When you do expect it, it feels like weather. Unpleasant, but not insulting. Think about how often anger begins with this silent sentence. They shouldn't have done that. But according to whom? According to your internal rule book, a rule book no one else agreed to follow. Stoicism removes that rule book, not by lowering standards, but by separating character from expectation. You still choose to act with dignity. You just stop demanding that others do the same. This is one of the hardest shifts for people to make, because they confuse expectation with self-respect. They think, if I don't expect better, I'm letting people walk over me. Stoicism answers calmly. Expecting less emotionally does not mean accepting less behaviorally. You can set boundaries without anger. You can distance yourself without resentment. You can say no without drama. But you cannot do any of that clearly if you're constantly shocked by human nature. Let's bring this into real life. Family gatherings, old patterns resurface. Someone makes a comment. Someone pushes a button they've pushed for years. You tell yourself, they should know better by now. But they don't, and they probably won't. The Stoic sees this in advance. He walks in already prepared. This person may provoke. I will not be surprised. And because of that preparation, the comment lands softer. Not because it was kind, but because it was expected. Now consider the workplace, office politics, egos, passive-aggressive behavior. You expect professionalism, but you encounter insecurity instead. If you're unprepared, you internalize it. If you're prepared, you navigate it. Stoicism doesn't teach you to trust people blindly. It teaches you to see them clearly, and clarity removes emotional volatility. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. Not pessimism, not paranoia, preparation. Each morning, the Stoic asks quietly, what kind of challenges might I face today? Who might test my patience? What reaction would preserve my character? This mental rehearsal does something powerful. It removes the element of surprise, and surprise is what fuels anger. When something happens that you already accounted for, your nervous system stays calm. You don't tense up. You don't escalate. You don't take it personally. Because you already decided who you would be before the situation arrived. Most people decide after they're triggered. That's too late. The Stoic decides in advance. And here's the key insight. You cannot be offended by what you fully expect. You might still dislike it. You might still address it. But you won't lose control over it. This habit also protects you from disappointment. Disappointment is simply anger turned inward. You expected more. You hoped. You waited. And when reality failed to deliver, you felt deflated. Stoicism replaces hope with readiness. Not cynicism, readiness. It teaches you to build your peace on what you control, not on how others behave. So here's the practice for habit number 4. Every morning, take 30 seconds and say this to yourself. Today, I may encounter rude people, careless people, or unreasonable behavior. I will not be shocked. I will not be pulled into reaction. I will respond according to my character. That's it. No affirmations. No positivity. Just clarity. And throughout the day, when something irritates you, remind yourself, I expected friction. This changes nothing. Say it again. I expected friction. This changes nothing. Because when you stop expecting people to protect your peace, you finally take responsibility for it. And anger fades. Not because the world improves, but because you're no longer surprised by it. 5. Practice voluntary discomfort. Here's a truth most people avoid. You're easily angered because your life is too comfortable. That's not an insult. It's a diagnosis. When your nervous system is used to ease, convenience, and instant relief, even small irritations feel unbearable. A delay feels like disrespect. A harsh tone feels like an attack. A minor inconvenience feels personal. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't wait for hardship to toughen them. They trained for it. This practice is called voluntary discomfort, not self-punishment, not suffering for the sake of suffering, but intentional exposure to difficulty, so that when real challenges arrive, your system doesn't collapse. Here's the logic. If you regularly choose discomfort, discomfort stops surprising you. And what doesn't surprise you cannot control you. Most anger is not about what happened. It's about low tolerance for frustration, low tolerance for delay, low tolerance for friction. The Stoic raises that tolerance on purpose. Think about it. If your day is built around convenience, warm showers, constant stimulation, instant replies, emotional venting, your mind becomes fragile. But when you regularly deny yourself comfort, even in small ways, you build emotional immunity. This is why Stoics practiced cold exposure, fasting, silence, and simplicity. Not because they hated pleasure, but because they refused to be dependent on it. Let's ground this. Voluntary discomfort today doesn't require extreme acts. It requires consistency. Simple practices. Take a cold or cool shower instead of a hot one. Sit in silence for 10 minutes without your phone. Delay a response when you want immediate relief. Choose to walk when driving would be easier. Remain calm when you are tempted to correct, defend, or react. Each of these does the same thing. They train you to stay steady while uncomfortable. And here's the shift that matters. When you practice discomfort physically, you gain control emotionally. Because anger is often just the mind screaming, "I don't like how this feels." The Stoic replies calmly, "I can endure this." That sentence changes everything. Let's talk about silence, the most underestimated form of voluntary discomfort. When someone provokes you, the urge to respond is intense. Silence feels unnatural, almost painful. That's the training. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you strengthen your internal authority. You teach yourself, "I don't need relief through expression." And once you no longer need to express, you are no longer controlled. This habit also reshapes identity. Most people identify as emotional beings trying to manage reactions. The Stoic identifies as a disciplined being who experiences emotions without obeying them. That's a crucial difference. Discipline reduces anger because it removes panic. You are no longer afraid of discomfort. You know you can handle it. And when you know you can handle discomfort, people lose leverage over you. Because manipulation relies on reactivity. Push, you explode. Provoke, you respond. Withdraw, you chase. Voluntary discomfort cuts this pattern at the root. You stop needing things to be easy. You stop needing people to be gentle. You stop needing situations to be ideal. And paradoxically, life becomes lighter. Not because it's easier, but because you're stronger. Here's the part most people miss. This habit is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming unshakable. You still care, you still feel, but you no longer collapse under sensation. So here's your practice for habit number 5. Choose one small discomfort per day. Not dramatic, not extreme, consistent. Cold water for 30 seconds, silence instead of explanation, delay instead of immediate relief. And while you do it, repeat this sentence internally. "I can endure this, and I don't need to react." Say it again. "I can endure this, and I don't need to react." Over time, something powerful happens. Your threshold rises, your reactions slow, your anger weakens. Not because life stopped testing you, but because tests stopped feeling threatening. And when discomfort no longer scares you, neither do people. Becoming unbothered is a daily practice. By now you've seen the pattern. Anger was never your enemy. People were never the problem. The real issue was where you placed control. Today, you learned 5 Stoic habits. Not to make life easier, but to make you stronger. You learned to live by character, not emotion. To focus only on what you control. To pause before you react. To expect difficulty instead of being shocked by it. And to train yourself to endure discomfort, so nothing outside you can shake you. This is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming grounded. Because the truth is this: life will always test you. People will still be careless. Situations will still be unfair. But from this point on, none of that has to live inside you. You don't need to raise your voice to be strong. You don't need to explain yourself to be respected. And you don't need to carry anger to protect your dignity. The Stoics understood something timeless. The calmest person in the room controls the room, not through force, not through dominance, but through self-command. And self-command is built, not wished for. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, choose one habit from this video. Just one. Practice it daily, quietly, without announcing it, because this work isn't for applause. It's for freedom. Freedom from emotional hijacking. Freedom from unnecessary conflict. Freedom from giving people access they never earned. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to like it. It helps more people find this message. Subscribe if you want to continue building calm, strength, and stoic discipline. And most importantly, leave a comment with this affirmation. Not for me, but for yourself. I am calm, disciplined, and unbothered. Say it again. I'm calm, disciplined, and unbothered. Carry that with you, because once you master yourself, no one else can control you.